Shavkat Rakhmonov is aiming to knock off the Wonder Boy, Stephen Thompson, and he wants to make it 18 finishes in a row, AJ. You already know. This is an interesting matchup, though, because Stephen Thompson, we just saw how unchecked his striking can be when you have a dude who doesn't want to respect the game of mixed martial arts, who says, I want to just have a striking contest with you. Let's see what we can do. Did you not forget Stephen Thompson is a world-class kickboxer / MMA fighter, and realistically had 2 opportunities to be a real champion in this division, came just short against Tyron Woodley, who packs an atomic bomb in his right hand. So let's just say that, right? But Stephen Thompson, we have to open ourselves up to the reality that the man is 40 years old. AJ. Shavkat Rakhmonov, on the other hand, is 29 and is on a tear of tears. The Jeff Neal fight was so impressive. Do you think he says, I want to have a little fun? AJ, do you think Shavkat says, I want to bleed? Thompson, let's go, baby. No grappling right here. Striking contest. How much ego is coming into this matchup from the Rakhmonov camp?
I think none, Derek. As much as I want to see, as much as I would love to see them both bite down on the mouthpiece, go old school playground style, first one to shoot's a bitch, I don't think that's the smartest way to get it going, man. Especially we saw what 40-year-old Stephen Thompson could do, man. He has the skills. He's had the skills since he's like 6 years old. I do think there's going to be that little bit of a time right in the beginning, right? First minute and a half right in there. They're scrapping down. They're filling each other out. Yeah, I can see that's when it starts to play. But the second Shavkat sees the speed and the precision that Stephen Thompson provides, and as well as the blitz style where he's able to be in, hit you a couple times, and then dip on out, I think Shavkat goes back to the bread and butter, and we see him working a full MMA game right here.
I think you're right. And I know I'm excited too, right? I want to build it to fruition. But the reality is, even against Jeff Neal, man, he was having some success against him. And once he started getting caught, you saw it. It's almost like it was natural instinct, no thought, immediately reverted to the clinch. All right, come here. Let's stop all this separation. Get over here. Knees to the body all day long. And that's like one of my favorite parts of Rakhmonov's game, man. Clinch you up and just brutalize you with those knees. Just sap that gas tank lower and lower and lower. And you need to do that against a guy like Stephen Thompson unless you just take the easy approach, which is, I don't see how he can't just take him down and submit him. AJ, like, am I missing something right here? I know he's a minus 600 favorite, and I don't think it's for that reason particularly. I think that's just how much of a monster he is. But I think he's a guy who is a showstopper, who wants to put on impressive fights and doesn't want to particularly take the easiest path to victory. Instead, probably looking for a highlight reel knockout per se. But the easiest money that you could make is Shavkat coming in, taking him down, doing the Bilal Muhammad approach, doing the Gilbert Burns approach, right? And then just submit him. What do you think?
Absolutely, Derek. And like thinking about how if the storybooks can be written already, how would Shavkat want that story playing out? It's a mauling. It's literally just beating him up from the second this fight starts, whether it's on the feet, on the ground, however it is. And in fact, so much so, I don't think if the submission presents itself, maybe it's late in the round or late in the fight and he will take it. But if it's early, I do think Shavkat will just try to go for the TKO ground and pound and really make a statement right here, because that's all he needs. That's literally it. You know, if you're a minus 600 favorite, yeah, you're supposed to win the fight. But how do you impress everybody? It's with a show and it's with a performance. And that's the one thing he's missing to get people calling his name right now.
Yeah, bro. I mean, you look at it. Submission, knockout, submission, knockout. I mean, tear, man. It's an absolute tear. I can't see Thompson giving him some problems on the feet, man. I just don't see how it could be prolonged unless Rakhmonov says gentleman's agreement like Kevin Holland and tries not to take him down. But even Kevin Holland, who was like, all right, bro, I'm starting to lose. Let's start shooting in on these takedowns. And there's a major difference between the two. I mean, Rakhmonov actually can grapple with the best of them. Not only that, but Holland hurt his hand in that fight. So Thompson looked fantastic, but against a compromised opponent, right? We saw Jeff Neal pretty much get jacked up against Rakhmonov, man. This is this caliber of fighter that we're watching right here. So I don't have a long synopsis on this. I love Wonder Boy. I love the ability for him to show out at his best when it's ideal circumstances. I just don't see those ideal circumstances showing up here in this matchup right here. I mean, do you? Or
I think the best route for Stephen Thompson to get in there is play that blitz game, play the point fighting karate style that he's so used to, because it confuses people, man. When you're in there and you're blitz in on somebody, you hit him with a 3-piece and you blitz out and then he goes for the clinch and you're not there, or he's starting to throw punches back at you and he's hitting air. That right there frustrates a fighter so much. You can see it in their face when it starts to happen, and we can see what happened, like you said, in the Kevin Holland fight. You get frustrated, you go back to your roots. Well, if you can't get a hold of Stephen Thompson, you're in for a long day of work. But the only thing that worries me, man, is that Stephen Thompson already has, I forgot which fighter he was comparing himself to, but he says, I don't want to fight too long because we've seen what happens to older fighters. You already got that in your head, brother. You already should have been retired then.
Yeah, I mean, come on, put some respect on the Wonder Boy's name, man. I just think it's these matchups, bro. You know, they're not giving him favorable matchups. This is not a favorable matchup. This is all love to the figure who is Wonder Boy Thompson. But yeah, Shavkat, smash spot right here. Should be more competitive than a plus 425 comeback right here. But if he does what he needs to do, I think that you should take Shavkat Rakhmonov. And I don't know what the over and under is yet, but if it's 1.5, you take the under all day long. I think this is a mauling in store. So Bloody Water Podcast consensus pick, Shavkat Rakhmonov, mauling, unfortunately. But all right, man.